focus on the fact that you're called to do this work. I've been working with speakers and coaches for over 25 years. My greatest success stories have generated millions of dollars in revenue. I mean, it's mind-boggling to me when I think about a client like a Shay Brown, who had never generated over $100,000 in a year. And now he's done millions. We'll talk more about Shay a little bit later. Somebody like an RV Robinson, who had never done over $60,000 a year in her business. And I was the coach behind the scenes, guiding her, helping her, believing in her. And she went out and did millions. And I remember coaching her to do a free seminar, like what I'm doing with you guys right now. This is not the only way, but it is one way to get in front of people, is to do a free seminar. In this case, a virtual 3-hour seminar called Create Revenue Now for Speakers and Coaches. And so I said to RV, I want you to do this, but we didn't have Zoom back then. It was an in-person all-day event. She's a public speaking coach, so she was helping people grow their business with public speaking. So I lay out the plan for her. This is the play, RV, do this. And she agrees. She goes, okay, I'll do it. I go, great. A couple months pass. I check in with her. How are you doing on the speech? She goes, how'd you do the free seminar? She goes, I didn't do it. I go, why not? I got afraid, got scared. Why? Well, when I was a kid, when I was in high school, I always wanted to have a party. And I never did it because I was afraid nobody would show up. Eric, what if I do this event and nobody shows up? Can you get that? Can you get that's where she was coming from? And that's what was holding her back? See, what she was looking at, her thinking was, what if nobody shows up? So what action gets created out of what if nobody shows up? Procrastination. You don't do the event. I said, RV, it doesn't matter if nobody shows up. Your job is to be the messenger. Your job is to deliver the message for whoever does show up. Right now on the Zoom, counting me, there's 15 of us. And let me see if there's any AIs in here. Okay, no AIs. So there's 14 plus me. Okay? My job is to deliver this message as powerfully as I can to 14 of you, plus however many of you are listening to the recording. Maybe we have 50 people watch the recording. So there's 64 human beings, and my job is to deliver the most powerful message possible. It's not how many people show up. So I give her the little pep talk, and I get her to point to something different to look at. If you're not taking action right now in your speaking and coaching, it's directly related to your thinking. Ask yourself, what is the thinking that's creating this? So I said, RV, go do the event. I gave her my little pep talk, whatever I said. And it landed, and she did it. She had around 100 reservations. Usually for a live event that's free, it's, 30, 40, 50% show rate. So 100 register, a good day would be 50, right? 110 people showed up. It was standing room only. She did 11,000 in sales. So this has to do with who RV was being. She was being the leader to deliver the message, not being in her head of what if nobody shows up. Is my message relevant? Because this isn't about you. Yeah, you're the messenger, you're the coach, you're the author, you're the speaker, you're the course creator. But this is a business, it's about serving. Right now, this isn't about me. This is about me serving you. Delivering a message that has the potential to change your life. I went and saw Lance Long speak when I was 21 years old. When I walked into the room, I had never had a thought of being a speaker in my life. I hadn't really thought much about my future at all. I was 21 years old, stumbling through college. I had no career path. I wasn't like, well, I want to be a teacher. I want to be a this, or I didn't have any of that. I just was in the present moment, figuring it out as a 21-year-old. I walk in, I see this guy named Lance Long, and he's amazing. And I go, that's what I want to do with my life. And my entire life changed because of a speaker. Because the speaker got up there and he delivered the message that he was called to deliver. And had I not seen Lance Long, there's a very, very good possibility I would not be a speaker. Because I had never had that thought before. And what's crazy is I don't know how to get a hold of Lance Long. I don't know if he's still alive. I was just a guy in the audience. And it wasn't his seminar. He was a guest speaker. There's 100 of us there. So I'm a random guy in the audience that Lance Long has no idea. His speech launched one of the greatest sales training careers in the history of the world. So when you're speaking, sometimes you know who's in the room, sometimes you don't. Right? You show up as a guest speaker and there's 84 people you've never met before, and you're going to be there, you're going to give the speech, and you're going to get off stage, you're going to get off the Zoom, and maybe you never talk to them again, maybe you do, but you plant a seed for somebody. You tell a story and it unlocks something for somebody, and they forever change their life because of you. And as far as is your message relevant, or do you have what it takes? What changes people's lives, guys, is stories. I was talking to a gentleman yesterday, and I'm helping him write a book. One of the things I'm called to do is to help people write books. And this guy came to the class, and he's going to publish a book in the next 30 days. His name is Brian. And without me, he wouldn't be publishing that book. And I'm not saying that to stroke my ego. It's what's so. Without me, it doesn't mean he wouldn't publish in the future, but he would not be publishing in the next 30 days had I not done my book in a day class. So I'm talking to him, and he tells me that he was adopted. And he found out that his mom had him when she was in prison. And they're not sure who the father is. And he's writing a book about this. And you've never heard of him before. But let's say you were adopted and you've been struggling your whole life with the thoughts of being abandoned and whatever's been occurring for you. And you get this book and you buy Brian's book, and it connects with you in a way that helps you. See, Brian doesn't have to be a polished speaker. He has a story that connects with you. Your stories are just as valuable as Les Brown's stories. There's no difference between you and Les Brown as far as stories for the right person. You could impact somebody greater than Tony Robbins or Brian Tracy or Louise Hay. Go, Eric, how is that possible? There's nothing more powerful than a good idea whose time has come. So you share the right story, the right idea that lands with the person, and their life is forever changed, and you're answering your calling. So this is a seminar I did. It's in Rocklin, California. This was in around 2005. There's 5 people there. It was a 3.5 or 4 day event. They invested $3,500 per person for that experience. I didn't really think much of it. I'm just doing the training. None of these people are from Rocklin. Everybody flew in from out of the area. Carol on the left from Georgia. Shay's in Washington, D.C. Scott's in L.A. RV's in Southern California. Kelly's in L.A. So everybody flies up. And what was crazy about this little 5-person event is every single one of this is a speaking event. Every single one of those people went out and spoke. They actually got out there and spoke. And the other crazy part is two of these 5 people generated millions of dollars in revenue. I was 34 at the time, pretty new as a trainer. Put this event on, 2 of these people went out and did millions. So that's Shay Brown. So that's Shay here. Shay was just getting started. Shay's one of the top speakers in the world today. And I was his mentor for several years. If you ever see Shay speak, if you know my content, you'll hear me and Shay because I've had a huge influence on Shay's career. I'm so proud of him. And then this is RV. That's RV in the photo there. RV's gone out and done millions of dollars, trained people all over the world. So I had no idea when I did this little event that that was going to have that kind of an impact. I got a message last night. I was doing some prospecting, and this gentleman said, "Thank you, Eric. You're always a blessing to me. I appreciate you. Look, this is last night at 10:07. Look, it's been a long road to recovery, and now I feel like I'm just getting started all over again. I have to start building from almost scratch, but I'm looking forward to the journey ahead. There is hope. That's why God had you reach out to me today. I'm just doing a prospecting touch. In my head, my goal, I got to reach out to my numbers. So I reach out to this gentleman, and he says to me, that's why God had you reach out to me today. You're the type of sign for me to know that I still have good friends in high places and to begin reaching back out to my mentors, teachers, and trainers. Look, there was a time when I wouldn't go anywhere without listening to my Eric Lofholm CDs. So years ago, I did these audio CDs and he got them. And I didn't know. He's got these things in his car and he's taking them everywhere. I didn't know that. I sounded just like you and I got closing results just like you. Through this transition of having this stroke, that was his medical situation that happened to him, I have to admit I've lost some confidence, but you're a sign from God to me to keep on pushing and to jump back in the club. Thank you, Eric, for your on-time support just when I needed it. So in his life, I'm his Tony Robbins.